William Henry Gates III is an American business tycoon, software developer, investor, author, and philanthropist. Along with his late childhood friend, Paul Allen, he co-founded Microsoft. Gates served as chairman, CEO, president, and chief software architect during his tenure at Microsoft. He also served as the company's largest individual shareholder until May 2014. He played a significant role in the microcomputer revolution of the 1970s and 1980s as an entrepreneur. Let's have a look at the legacy Bill Gates left behind. Gates grew up in Seattle, Washington, where he was born. In Albuquerque, New Mexico, he and Allen established Microsoft in 1975. The company grew to be the biggest maker of personal computer software worldwide, up until January 2000 when he stepped down as CEO and was replaced by Steve Ballmer. Gates served as the company's chairman and CEO. He also served as the company's chief software architect. His business practices, which have been deemed anti-competitive, came under fire in the late 1990s. Many court rulings have supported this opinion. Gates changed his employment status in June 2008 from a full-time position at Microsoft to a part-time one at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, a private charitable organization he and his then-wife Melinda Gates founded in 2000. Gates is praised as the visionary who revolutionized our way of life because he made the idea of a PC in every home a reality. There is no doubt that Gates and Microsoft arrived at the perfect time. In 1977, Ken Olsen, a former executive at the pioneering computer company Digital Equipment Corp. (DEC), famously said that he did not understand why anyone would want a computer in their home. IBM's lack of interest in creating PC software gave Microsoft its first opportunity. Computing today might have taken place in a different, analog, green screen environment if it had been left to businesses like DEC and IBM. To contextualize Gates and Microsoft is the challenge though. A visionary is described in the dictionary as a person with unusual powers of foresight, or one given to fanciful speculations and enthusiasms with little regard for what is actually possible. Gates popularized computing by putting a focus on experience on a low-cost Intel box. When it came to PCs, he had the vision to understand what Olsen was unable to, that, given the easily accessible and affordable tools, regular people, as opposed to just those working for businesses or the engineering and scientific communities served by IBM and DEC, could achieve great things with computers. But as a result of his success, he turned into another Olsen, a man whose opinions were limited and shaped by the market that his company had created. Alright, so as we all understand, Gates fell in love with the idea of the computer when he was a young boy. Before there was Microsoft, he and Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen founded Traf-O-Data, a business that monitored traffic patterns on a road. The system used an Intel 8008 chip, which costs $360. The relationship began with Intel, software, and the power of what could be accomplished. Microsoft released the first iteration of Windows in the 1980s, an addition to MS-DOS that markedly improved how users interacted with personal computers. But when it came time to securing its position on desktops and expanding beyond personal computers to include servers, the 1990s were Microsoft's heyday. High points include the introduction of Windows 3.0 and Windows 95, the first versions of Windows for the PC that were extremely liked. The latter was instrumental in making the PC accessible to consumers as well as businesses, and both contributed to its adoption by regular end users. Along with the introduction of Windows NT, SQL Server, Exchange, and Outlook, the decade also saw the release of Microsoft's first server operating system. In 1989, Microsoft bundled its separate word processing and spreadsheet applications into a single product called Office. Here is where Bill Gates' first qualification as a visionary is required. In every area, including server operating systems, databases, email, and collaboration, Microsoft never came out on top. But because of Gates' well-known attention to detail and obsessiveness, which sometimes bordered on rudeness, Microsoft frequently produced products that were better designed from the perspective of end users. It was easier to use them. Security was a different issue at the time because networks did not yet offer the kind of connectivity that allowed malicious individuals to misuse Windows machine systems or data. Most PCs and servers operated in solitary, safe islands. Therefore, the emphasis was on giving the user of the Microsoft software using the PC in front of them more control. How could you take Windows NT, which was first introduced in 1993, seriously when it was based on the desktop and focused on empowering the user rather than discouraging bad actors from acting improperly or on providing enormous amounts of scale? The early years of Microsoft's more recent software were rife with failure stories. The UK's NatWest Bank, which used over 2,000 machines on a Windows NT branch network, suffered a significant outage in the late 1990s. If you were using Novell's NetWare, you wouldn't have gotten that. Every few days, Windows Exchange Server had the notoriously bad habit of needing a quick reboot. Lotus by IBM is an exception. Despite all of its early missteps and snide dismissals of the IT professionals, the fact that Microsoft closed the gap will go down in history. Office, Windows NT, SQL Server, and Exchange Server matured and passed them to take the top spot or two, defeating IBM, Lotus, Oracle, Novell, and a number of other forgotten and extinct Unix vendors. Many young people today only know Bill Gates for his incredible wealth. But this is only one aspect of his remarkable qualities. In the future, it might not even be the most crucial. His story is worth telling because it can motivate our neighborhood business owners, particularly those working in the field of information technology, to extraordinary success. Like any famous person, he has his share of critics, and some of us may lack the necessary expertise to determine whether the critics' claims are accurate. Even with those flaws, it appears that his accomplishments currently far outweigh them. So that's the end of the video. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and press the notification bell so you never miss out on our next videos. Until the next video, take care.